This is Marcus Hollinger, and this is the 116 Live Show on Holy Culture Radio, SiriusXM Channel 154. Welcome to the 116 Live. My name is Marcus. I'm one of your hosts, and I'm here with my good friend
Ace Harris.
And again, this is the 116 Live on Holy Culture Radio, SiriusXM Channel 154. Today, we have a very special guest in studio with us. We're joined by the one
and only,
Porsha Love.
Come on,
let's go.
I gotta do I need some sound. I need some sound effects, bro. Thank you.
Give it up for Porsha Love. You probably heard her on one of Reach's breakout records the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Don't Worry About It, which again, I mean, just amazing record. Porsha, you slid.
Thank you.
All over that thing.
Holy girls up.
You know, if you heard the record, I'm sure you've seen the music video, which was, I think there are videos that you watch that really kind of cement a moment or really, and that was one of those videos.
Absolutely.
So that's what we're sitting in with Porsha Love. Porsha, how are you doing today? How are you showing up today?
I am, what Mariah say? I'm doing the best I can with what I got.
Hey! Love it.
I'm showing up as me.
Yeah.
Like, in whatever way that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I expect my fruit to speak for me.
Yeah.
So however my fruit is what I'm standing on. So
no doubt.
Like not trying to perform, not trying, as a creative, sometimes you show up, like even to events and stuff, you got to put on face.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I gotta, hi, da-da-da-da, but today I'm chilling.
But you know what? I will say though, some people put on, every time I'm around you, you just like bright up the room.
Oh, thank
you. Like it's just fun. I'm like, your Porsha is fun to be around. You're smiling, you're encouraging, you're fun, and you low key hilarious.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
I be trying.
Yo,
thank you.
If y'all don't follow Porsha on Twitter, you're gonna get some ministry, some edification, and you're gonna get some clap back and some laughs. So
and some makeup tutorials too.
Oh, yeah.
So
yes. I love Twitter.
Yeah, so you had the Don't Worry About It joint, the Helga joint, and I love your wordplay, and the way you show up on the records is also just how you show up in person. And I wanna maybe start with asking Porsha, who is Porsha Love in her own words, and what informs the creativity that Porsha shows up with?
Who is Porsha Love? I mean, I really can't be boxed in. I'm just a regular girl who loves God, and I love people. Like, I genuinely love people.
Yeah.
And I want them to feel that, I try to be present in every situation so that people can know that I'm present with them.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just a girl. I love God. I love people. I'm creative, and I love to express that in whatever way I can.
So I'm curious, like, let's take a trip back.
Yeah.
Because we know the Porsha Love post all, I got to know you through seeing you on Rapzilla and just seeing you and like, okay, she's
shout
really
out
dope.
Rapzilla.
Yeah, shout out Rapzilla.
Okay.
And so I'm sure there was a Porsha before some of that. Like, you're naturally very nice and kind. Walk us back, like,
Oh Lord.
take us back to, is there a BC story? Is there a Porsha, like, I want to know, like, how'd you get here? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, the BC Porsha Love was out of control. I mean, I always had like this bubbly aspect to me.
Okay.
But I was impulsive.
Okay.
So like, people with extreme personalities, they don't really, without Christ, you don't know how to control it. So it's like, I'm extremely happy, but I also could be extremely upset.
Okay.
And I also could be like, saying what I want to say because I can do that.
Oh, your clapback game was...
I was not...
Still.
I mean, no.
She being nice.
I just was not like considerate of everyone, or just being as kind as I could. Like, if you hurt my feelings, I'm going to demolish your feelings. Like, I just went to the extreme. It's like, you said a little, okay, I'm going to say a lot. So, I don't know. Yeah, I definitely had to grow up. But God brought me through that. And now who I am, like, experiencing life will humble you. You will go through situations, you know, like I talked about on TK podcast. Shout out to TK Lee.
Yo.
But I talked about on her podcast how I lost a lot of people. Like, everybody who raised me have passed on.
Wow.
So experiencing that while being single, while being young, while still trying to figure out my own self and figure out my own life, you know, it really humbled me and put me in a place where, you know, people say, oh, I lean on God. I ain't had no choice.
That was it.
I ain't had nobody else. You know, it's like I knew I couldn't go back to what I'm used to.
Why couldn't you go back? What about you was like, man, I know, because I know you're from Detroit, but you know, tell me about what going back looked like and why you couldn't go back to that.
Yeah, just going back to drinking, smoking,
keeping it
clubbing. Real. Yeah, like, you know, just really living my life based off of how I feel and not by the Spirit of God. It's like, oh, I'm depressed. Okay, it's a Tuesday. Let's turn up. You know,
let's get undepressed.
Yeah, let me drink some. Let me smoke some. Let me, you know, do whatever would satisfy my flesh when really, like, my spirit was broken. And I knew that there was no fulfillment in that. I knew it. It's something when you, like, come into Christ. Yeah. You just have a certain wisdom, a certain discernment, to where even if you try to deny it, it's like, you know, it's there. And I knew going back would not satisfy me. I have tasted the goodness of God.
Hallelujah.
You know, it's like I have tasted and seen, like, Jesus is the way.
Yeah.
And I knew that relying on men, drugs, you know, drinking, whatever, it would not satisfy me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just knew that I couldn't go back there. And I'm like, okay, God, this is trash, but this is also trash. Like, so what we doing? What are we doing? So, yeah, God really kept me for real.
Yeah, it also makes me curious, Porsha, how was that, at what point in that journey or what you was doing did you realize or did you discover your knack for rapping?
Yeah, like when I was little.
Oh, okay.
When I was like 5.
Okay, say more. Oh, that was wait. That was such a Midwest Detroit 5.
Yo, the choppiness on them vowels, man.
When I was 5.
When I was 5, you feel me?
But say more. What happened at 5? That
so, like, okay, I'm not a freestyler now, but I used to freestyle when I was little.
Oh, you're still a freestyler.
Oh, no.
And guys, we're gonna get.
We might have to tap in.
Oh my goodness, Lord. But I'm rusty. But my brother would, like, make a beat, like he would beatbox, and then I would just rap.
Yeah.
So I used to freestyle with my brother all the time, and I grew up in a musical family. Like, my mom danced, like. My mama was the type of mama, it's Saturday, we playing music.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then she playing the same song.
Mama.
Every day. Let her not be going through something. We listening to the same song all day. So music was, like, a big part of my childhood. And I discovered that I can write when I got in 6th grade.
Whoa.
And I wrote my first rap. And I had, like, a little mini group with my cousins. We wrote a rap about Martin Luther King.
Oh, that's hard.
I still remember it, like, parts of it. It's so corny. But I started to grow up and realize, oh, I can actually, like, I'm good at this. Yeah. And then I would rap in school. You know, you rap at the lunch table.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would rap, like, at school, and they were like, oh, this is fun.
So you've always been kind of outgoing and, like,
always.
You're obviously you're not shy, but, like, it's just natural for you.
Yeah, I've never been introverted. But that came from, I've always had this, like, confidence from my mom.
Shout out mom.
Yeah, like, she made me feel like I can do anything. Wow. Like, literally, like, and she would gas me up.
What was she doing to
what that look like?
Yeah, what that look
like? I could just walk in the house and be like, oh, Ma, I want to be an astronaut. And then she'd be like, okay, like, she getting pamphlets. She, like, looking it up, like, well, how we gonna do that? Like, if we get to the moon, how we getting there? Like, my mom really made me feel like I could do anything.
Man, that's amazing.
So, yeah, I get that from her.
I sense that. When you speak, you just light up about your mother. That's amazing. So Did you have any? You were rapping.
Yeah.
Were you recording? The producer in me is curious. Like, is there like a Porsha Love like mixtape out there? Like,
yeah. Well, I wasn't Porsha Love.
Okay.
I was not Porsha Love.
Can we
BC.
care to share the name, or is it?
Yeah, I can share it.
Okay.
They're not gonna find it. But
I'm doing a Google search.
My name was Beauty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what this is actually. But my name was Beauty before Christ, and I had a mixtape called Beauty the Beast.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it was fire.
Might have to do with the Lux.
I mean,
we might have to, okay, let's go.
Yeah, so I used to, we was rapping. I didn't start recording until I got to high school.
Okay.
And so before then, I was just like writing because, you just don't know where to go to record.
Right.
So then when I got older, my friends had a studio, and then I would just go and record at his studio. And that's when I actually started like making music. And I went viral in the world. Like, we was on the radio, we was rapping at the clubs.
What?
Yeah, it was like crazy. Like, I've always been a girl's girl. So I wrote an anthem like in response to what a guy had wrote in the city. It was like a local rapper, but he was like super popular. And it was all about dogging girls. And I was like, I can't have that. We gotta stand up and go against them. So
leader.
then me and my friends got together and like retaliated, and then it blew up. And yeah, but we was cool with them. It wasn't like no actual beef.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like, ladies, we gotta put on for us. So yeah.
I love that. And I'm always intrigued because so many times, like, people who love hip hop, we usually don't get to hear the same stories or the same genesis or origin of women who get into the craft. Like, I saw there was this beautiful moment recently where like Queen Latifah was on stage kind of rapping, and she had some other female MCs with her, and it was sort of like this celebration of the legacy of hip hop, celebration of Queen Latifah. And it was just something about the way that she was moving and just laying her thing down, even to now, where I was like, yo, that's dope. And so, Porsha, I really wanna ask for you, did you ever let me see. Can you tell us a bit about how you being a woman, you talked about that it started with you wanting to stand up for women, you've always been a girl's girl.
Yeah.
How has that played in your journey as a hip hop artist?
It's keeping me, honestly, like knowing that they need to see themselves in someone.
Yeah.
It's not even like a maybe, like, oh, this will be a good idea. No, they need to see themselves in someone.
Yeah.
And like, if it was up to me, rapping, first of all, rapping is not easy. Being an artist is like, it's difficult to do. It comes with a lot of things behind the scenes. And it would just be so much easier to just go to school and be like, you know what, I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna get this degree, I'm gonna just get this money real quick, or I'm gonna do hair, I'm gonna do makeup, I'm gonna, da-da-da. But this is a calling that God has called me to. So it comes with, trials and stuff like that. But knowing that there are women who look up to me or are banking on me to reach whatever level God got for me,
right,
is what keeps me going. Like, it's what, okay, I gotta record, I gotta get in the studio, I gotta da-da-da-da. Like, there's another little Detroit Eastside girl trying to see herself in Christian rap. There's another black girl who, the church may look at like, oh, she ghetto. The world may look at like, oh, she not ghetto enough, and it's like, where can she fit in? And it's like, you a holy girl, period. You can fit in over here.
I wanna thank you for sharing that. I feel like there's so much more to tap in on that. And I wanna ask a follow-up. What do you mean when you say who are you? You mentioned like the East Side girl from Detroit.
Yeah.
The church may say she too ghetto, the world may say she's not ghetto enough. Is that coming from? Like is that coming from a personal place? Like, where is that where's that descriptor coming from?
Yeah, I would say, like, especially coming into God, I felt like I had to, like, I wasn't raised in church. So my mom would take me to Sunday school, and then I would beg her to take me because I love school. But even if she didn't go to church, she would take me, but I still wasn't really raised in the church with an understanding, like, church culture and the standards of God.
Okay.
So coming into that, I was 20, and I didn't feel like I fit in with the church. I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is for me. Literally, this was one conversation I had by myself before I decided to give my life to Christ. And I'm like, dang, I don't know if I can be a church girl. I don't know if I can wear my skirt past my knees. Like, that's probably not gonna happen. I'm like, dang, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I can do this. And literally that week, I went to Bible study. I'm gonna just go one more time. And the first lady prophesied to me. And she said, I see you trying to make a decision whether or not if you want to serve God or not. But I want to let you know that your life is on the line. If you don't choose to serve God, your life is on the line. And in that moment, I said, say less. What must I do to be saved? Like, I literally changed my life around like that.
Shout out the prophetess.
Yeah.
Shout out to people who tell it to us like it is.
Like it is. Yeah. I needed that.
Yeah.
For
and
sure.
I want to dig in a bit more on that, Porsha, because I there's so much of what you bring, image wise and persona wise, to that I think Ace and I both believe would be very beneficial to our audience here. But first, we're gonna take a quick break. If you're just tapping in with us, my name is Marcus. I'm one of your hosts. I'm here with my good friend
Ace Harris.
This is the 116 Live on Holy Culture Radio, SiriusXM channel 154, and we're joined by the one, the only Porsha Love. We're gonna take a quick break and we'll get back in. We're gonna talk about identity, faith, music, culture, all of that. Keep it locked. Welcome back. This is the 116 Life. I'm one of your hosts, Marcus. I'm here with my good friend
Ace Harris.
And this is the 116 Life on Holy Culture Radio, SiriusXM channel 154. We're in studio with Porsha Love, and we've been talking about just career, identity, things like that, as much as it pertains to a woman in the hip hop game. And Porsha, you said something you recently said something that was very interesting.
Yeah. That
we wanted to dive in on. And so as it pertains to being compared to sort of like a Nicki Minaj or a City Girls, you mentioned that there's an interesting dynamic around being compared, or sort of how the faith aspect. So I just wanted to kind of ask, like, how does it usually play out for you when those names come up, and do those names come up in comparison to your music?
Yes. Well, I don't, like, when people come up to me, or if they say like, oh, you the such and such a Christian rap, I like whoever they say, I'm like, please don't say that.
Oh, okay. You're the Christian version of City.
You're the Christian version of this person, or you're the Christian version of, it's like, oh, depending on who they say, it's like, okay, that might be a compliment, but it might not be,
Yeah. So which one would not feel like a compliment?
Well, I'll say which one would feel like a.
Okay.
I rather,
her PR training.
She's
seasoned out here.
Right.
She flipped the script.
Right.
Boy.
Like, no, I don't want no heat.
Somebody
like,
did their media
this
training.
This is not a compliment. Like,
yeah. But who would feel like a compliment?
Nicki.
Okay, why?
Because I'm a bard. I am a bard. I don't like stand for everything that she do, of course, but I respect that she write. I respect that she can hold her own in like a room full of men. I respect that she's herself, and that pretty much a lot of the artists, like, she influenced a lot of rap style. I know a lot of her influence came from Kim, like as far as how she dressed and stuff like that. But just her wittiness, her quirkiness, how weird she can be on a track, but she also got like crazy metaphors and similes and stuff. Yeah, so I respect Nicki. I love her. But I'm not the Nicki Minaj of Christian rap. I'm Porsha Love. Yeah, I'm me. And, it's just a lane that God has me in, that I'm not this of that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just me.
I want to ask a follow-up to that. How would you respond to because your brand and your platform, and this is something that we've talked about on this show, your brand is Holy Girls, right?
Yes.
Like, you standing for the Holy Girls, but you also mentioned that you love Nicki Minaj and you respect what she's doing. How do you hold how do you hold that tension?
Yeah, I can. Well, I don't only just love Nicki, but like, I love Glow. I love Lola Brooks. I love the City Girls. I love what they are doing, like, as far as artistically, not as far as standards. So to be a holy girl is basically a woman who doesn't compromise her kingdom standards for culture.
Okay.
So that's what a holy girl is. And I have kingdom standards, and I'm not going to compromise my kingdom standards for what culture is saying.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take away from me being able to respect, like, okay, like this is what you decide to do, you know, amen. But the bars is fire. Like, okay, yeah, you got metaphors. I can see the creativity past like their standard.
Yeah.
So I can still respect that and even admire like their work ethic. I feel like it's a lot that you can take from other people. Even if you're not doing necessarily what they do or how they do it, like I can talk to Ace and be like, oh, how do I get better on time management? He not a rapper, you know, like he's a producer. He's A&R. He do what he do.
I am a rapper.
Oh, you are. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Ace got bars.
He do got. Okay, I'm sorry.
You feel
my
me?
bad. He's an amazing rapper.
Not just Ace of Base. We have also
I'll say
Ace
this.
of Bars.
I'll say this. He's not a female rapper.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Okay.
No. We get that.
He's not a female rapper, but he can help me. You know what I'm saying? Like he still has knowledge far beyond that, you know, of what I have in certain areas that I may want to grow in. So I can still admire that and glean from that, even though we are in two different lanes. That's basically what I'm saying.
I think that's phenomenal what you said, and it kind of made me think about another question I wanted to ask you. Being a woman of the faith, holy girls, how does tell me some things that you don't love the way people engage you being a woman who raps, and what are some things that people can learn to do better with how? Because I feel like the knee jerk reaction is like, yo, I see you. You know, my daughter don't have to listen to this or that, and you are this and that. Tell me about a way to help people engage what you do in a way that's not so cliche.
Yeah.
And it's women's
History Month.
Yeah. Yes. So I think we could I think as men we can always learn more from women.
Yeah.
So educate our audience and us about what it means like to be a holy girl and how to engage and interface with them.
Well, first I would say don't compare us.
Okay.
Because you're not gonna walk up to a male and be like, oh, you're this or that. Majority of guys don't get that. Like majority of guys are not necessarily fighting for the top. Like they can, from the outside looking in, I feel like there's a table and they can be comfortable at that table. And, and everybody can acknowledge their creativity in different ways without putting one over the other. But with women, I feel like other people are like, oh, you have to be the best woman or the best this or the best that. Why we can't have the table that y'all have? Like why we can't just equally be different but dope?
Yeah.
You know, so I would enjoy us not being compared to anyone, secular, gospel, you know, the singers. Like, no, we just us.
Yeah.
And we thriving in our lane and we killing it. I can't do what she do. She can't do what I do, but we killing what we do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Individually. So first I would just say like, don't compare us.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's really like, I feel like when you start there, everything else will, fall in line. Yeah.
I think what I hear in that is a being seen for who you are.
Yes.
And that's dope. I appreciate that. I wanted to follow up on, you mentioned that a holy girl is someone who doesn't compromise kingdom standards for culture.
Yeah.
I want to hear, can you say more about what are those kingdom standards?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like, okay, I use one as an example. I don't know how we.
No, we can go there.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
you know, like
shot.
having sex.
Okay.
Before marriage. Okay. You know, like culture would say, y'all together, y'all love each other, do what you want to do, live your life, live your truth. You know what I'm saying? Like culture would want you to follow your heart. But kingdom is like, oh, you want to get down with the get down, you need to get married. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there's also a process in even that. So just knowing how God says that you should live your life and submitting your desires to his will is really what it's about.
So if let's I want to stay a bit more on that. From why is that what makes that a top of mind type of thing? Sex.
Yeah.
What makes that a top of mind value or something that feels like a pillar in the holy girl lifestyle?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it's like the top. It's definitely up there though.
Okay.
Because, you know, fornication is the only sin that you can do unto yourself.
Yeah.
And it really traps you. Like lust is everywhere.
Yeah.
Lust is just, you know, it's changing the world. It sells. Sex sells. And as me being an artist, I could choose to be sexual, seductive, or whatever to make more money, to sell more records, to, you know, go viral. I could do all type of wild stuff, but that's not me. It doesn't align with my morals or my character, because as a woman, you know, and even as men, but definitely as women, like a lot of the rappers of, you know, on the secular side, they use that to their advantage. It's like, okay, I got my body done, I got a cute face,
Right.
I'm gonna get this money, you know, and that's what they want to do. You do that. But as a holy girl, I don't put my faith in like how I look or how sexy I could be or how much money I could sell based off of my body. Like, no, I'm gonna put in the work, and I'm gonna trust that God gonna open up the door for me. So just not using what people would normally use to get leverage.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I'm gonna trust God. I'm gonna put the faith back in God.
That's super.
Yeah.
And I, not to stay there, I think that's why I feel like what you do is so important for culture, for just, and not just women. I think I want to say this: what you do is important for men too, in a huge way.
Yes.
And I don't know if enough men are saying that.
Ace, what you mean by that?
Men, my context is like Christian rap, Christian culture. This is where we're at, but maybe even Black culture. More men need to see women as women, celebrating who they are in Christ, and not boxing them into like these physical limitations and frameworks, even in the church.
Yeah.
Like allowing them to be seen, heard, and respected, and not feel like just because she's a woman with a perspective that her music, her voice is only for other women.
Yeah.
It's for little boys. It's for grown men. It's for everybody, because we can all glean from each other.
Word.
And I think it's important that we just honor that. You know what I'm saying? So when I see Porsha Love, I'm like, yo, she's leading a charge and inspiring other, not just men, not just women, but young people to just have a kingdom filter before the culture. Amen. And I think that's important, because in Christian culture, we do the subgrouping a lot. Yeah. I am guilty of it. Where we just be like, okay, you're for my daughters. Yo, you're the women who raps. You're a woman of faith. Oh, they don't have to hear Nicki Minaj again, all these containers, when really your perspective is valued for the kingdom at large.
Yeah.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? So let's just give a space for women to be respected, not just for influencing other women, but
the body.
Yeah.
You know, when you're thinking about the body, you don't just use your right hand for the right side of your body.
Right.
It's like, no, it's for the whole body. You know, you don't just use your feet for like a certain part. No, it's for your whole body. Yeah. So, you know, we are a body, and women are just as valuable, you know, in the whole body. Like, we help the whole body. So.
Yeah, I just felt that.
And then
dope too.
I love that. And Ace, thanks for, you know what I'm saying, jumping on the spot to answer that. And I wanna ask Porsha, it just happened here on the 116 Live, which, praise God, we want this to be the type of venue where that type of understanding and that type of affirmation can happen. But I'm curious, Porsha, is there a recent moment of impact where you felt your impact on the body that has encouraged you and made you feel as if, hey, I'm onto something here?
Yeah, I would say I went on tour with my friends, Miles, John, and all of those amazing people. But going outside of my comfort zone and then meeting young girls who will cry to me or say like, oh my God, you said this and it inspired me, or oh my God, I listen to this song every day, da 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 da. It showed me that this was bigger than me, and that there are people who are watching what God is doing in my life, and it is impacting them. That's when I was like, okay, this is like, I gotta be serious. Like, okay, this is not no joke. So yeah, even seeing mothers cry, like I met a mom and she was like, oh my God, I prayed to meet you and you just popped up, and like was just crying. I'm like, oh my God, this is just so much. So to see all of that happen and people just are excited to see me or meet me, or, you know, it just shows me like God is moving. Yeah. And I'm making, like, what God is doing in me is making an impact.
That's so dope.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I was like, that's a great place. If you're listening in, we're going to take a quick break. Once again, my name is Marcus. I'm one of your hosts here with my good friend
Ace Harris.
And this is the 116 Live. Today we're joined by the one and only Porsha Love. And this has been such a phenomenal conversation. Some love and affirmation has been shared. We're gaining some very valuable perspective. We're gonna come right back to that after this break. Keep it locked. It's Holy Culture Radio. Welcome back. This is the 116 Life. If you're just joining us, if this is your first time joining us, welcome. My name is Marcus. I'm here with my good friend
Ace Harris.
and we're here at Reach Records for 116 Life Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM channel 154 today with Porsha Love. And it's been an incredibly educational, affirming, and just I want to call it a family like experience where it truly feels like we're just hanging out with our sister and she's telling us what life is. She's just telling us what life is like and what it is.
Just kicking it.
Thank you for being here with us today, Porsha. This has been really cool. I appreciate
this one
you.
for sure.
Yeah, I know you. Yeah, it's just fun to have you around. I feel like we've got to know you. What's that? 2020? Around?
Well, no, I feel like
2019.
2019.
Okay, it was a while back.
Yeah, because I tagged you in one of my songs.
Oh yeah. And I replied or something.
You did.
Yeah.
You replied. It was like, oh, I love this. Like, this, I like your holy bars. You said like holy. Like,
I said that.
Yeah, it was more like I love your like holy, like your Christian.
Oh, okay. I like seeing people who are artists.
Yeah.
It can be done differently, but own their faith in their music.
Yeah.
Obviously, this doesn't mean everybody needs to sound like a sermon, but I need to feel like that's something that's important for me when I'm working with artists. Like, yo, what's your distinction? I think I've said that a lot of times on different platforms. So I heard that about it, and I was like, oh, this is dope. I hear the distinction. I hear the energy. I see the charisma. This is fire.
No, we've been tapped in.
Yeah.
Forever.
And also, I think Porsha has said this earlier. I think I want to follow up and just kind of ask you, like, you said you love people, which I see that clear as day. I feel like you're always rolling deep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got the game with you. But it's one thing to love people. It's another thing to love people and move them towards something.
Yeah.
And talk about what you do practically. Like, a lot of Christian hip hop artists have said this, and it can be debated. They'll say something like, have you heard it before? Mark is like, yo, rapping is not my ministry. It's my art form where I express God's creativity through it, and He gets the glory. And I'm okay with that to some degree. Yeah. But then my question is, but where are you? Where are you doing ministry? If rap isn't it, where are you showing up?
Yeah.
So if Christian hip hop isn't your ministry, well, what is your ministry?
Right.
Yeah.
And so I feel like Porsha is someone that I've seen the artist aside. I feel like I see you out in these streets, galvanizing people, moving people. Talk a little bit about that, and
Yeah, well, it first started, like before I even started rapping, I was saved for 2 years. I didn't know Christian rap existed. So I really had that root of like getting changed. Like, let me get changed. And then the church I was in, we used to feed the homeless. We would like go out and just like very community based. So I got a lot of those roots from there. Mm-hmm. And then discovering Christian rap, I'm like, oh, okay, like I can be a rapper. Like I don't gotta do what I used to do. I can like rap for God. Let me switch over. So now coming into Porsha Love, I still have that desire for change. Like I want people to change. I want people to be free. I want people to experience what I've experienced, and I pray that it's even on greater levels because I know what comes, like the fulfillment that comes with it. Right. Being somebody who did not know that this life existed, I'm just moving. Like I didn't know you could have joy for real. I didn't know like you could have gifts in the spirit. I didn't know you could talk to God. I didn't know you could have that relationship with Him where you can see Him and hear Him and feel Him. I didn't know that existed. So to come into this life, it's like, oh my, like I'm a kid in a candy store. Like, and I want to give it to everybody. Man. You know, it's like, oh my God, you don't have to do this. You can do this. You don't have to feel this way. Like God can give you peace for that. I love that. Like God can, you know what I'm saying? Like I was blown away. Yeah. Like literally at the goodness of God. And I'm like, I gotta tell my sister, tell this, tell that. So it really comes from that place. Yeah.
I love that, Porsha. What I hear you saying is so much of your ministry and so much of who you are has everything to do with what you've experienced of God. And I love that because oftentimes it seems as if as believers there's sort of a culture or a way of being that doesn't feel like it actually has something that it's holding on to, but is more just trying to like dictate to other people like what they should and shouldn't be doing. Whereas what I feel with you, there's a no, let me share with you what I have. And that brings me to a question I wanted to ask. Coming back to something earlier you said, man, like when I first was weighing it out, I felt like maybe I'm too ghetto or, you know, whatever. And I would be curious, Porsha, to ask, what would you say to someone who may be wrestling currently with that same question, where it feels like, and the adjectives can change, right? Like, man, I'm too ghetto. Or I remember I asked a young man at my church, I was like, yo, bro, what's it gonna take for us to raise the spiritual temperature of men at our church? And he was like, man, I feel like we got to see more people who are not corny. It's like he said it seemed like the people who are like fully all in on God and ain't compromising, they're also corny. And he was saying so, and not that so much I agree with that, but I could feel where he was coming from. So I'm curious, Porsha, what would you say to someone who's wrestling with those, like, man, I feel like I'm ghetto and that's who I am, and I feel like that ain't compatible with the faith. Like, what would you say to someone who's in that space?
Well, first, I don't feel like I'm ghetto, but I felt like that they would think I'm ghetto.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not ghetto. I didn't feel ghetto. I'm definitely spicy, you know, little hood.
Yeah.
But I felt like that they would perceive me as being ghetto, and that would hinder my community, or like I would just feel ostracized. Like I'm in this one community where I completely blend in.
Yeah.
Like we all city girls, you know, like we all turn it up, whatever. And then I'm over here where it's like I don't fit in over here.
Got you.
So I would just say to that person, like, first, there is space for you. Like if you feel like you don't blend in with the church or you don't blend in with God, you have to understand that He is the creator. Like He created you. He made you and formed you. There is room for you. Yeah. And God does not want to change that thing about you. I felt like I had to change that thing. Like me being creative and me wanting to get my hair colored or my nails long or like wearing a lot of makeup or whatever I wanted to do for that day. I felt like, oh, this is a part of me that God isn't going to accept. When really that's not God. Like those are church people. Those are some church people. You know, and
true.
And it's like, you know, those aspects about you, that creativity, God gave that to you and He wants you to use it, but now He wants you to use it for His glory. There is room for you. You don't have to feel like I don't fit in with the church. No, you fit in with God. Yeah. And God will give you community. He will give you community to push you and help you, and, you know, so you can see yourself in your community. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like people need to be relatable. Yeah. Like, I'm me. I'm flawed. I'm me. I'm loud. I'm funny, I'm goofy, I'm silly, I love people. Like, I'm just me. Yeah. And people want to see that. Yeah. They don't want to see you quoting scriptures all the time. Yeah. They don't want to see
Have you felt, sorry to cut you off, but okay. Have you felt resistance from certain, not to like, you don't have to call a name, but just maybe there's a moment where did you feel resistance from certain church cultures? Because every church subgroup, denomination, there's like cultures that uphold these things. I think we don't do enough time talking about it. I think what your friend said really speaks to mind, like, oh, there's an undercurrent of a culture that this group is flowing in that can be not appealing to this other group. Yeah. So have you experienced that, like in a church culture where you're like, dang, they're not trying to accept me for Porsha?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Even like going to events and like I wear pants. Like I'm completely covered, but I'm wearing pants. And then, you know, like when I rap, I'm aggressive when I rap. It's you know, like
on that stage.
We here, you know, like we turning up. We ain't come here to be cute, you know, like we can be cute later. So like when I perform, you know, some people might not be accepting of that, or they might think I sing. So I get the mic and they like, oh, she's not a singer, she's a rapper. So I have had that experience where people were like, I don't know about this girl, or even when we drop Don't Worry About It. I was called a Jezebel.
Whoa.
Yes, I was called, this lukewarm music, this, y'all not modest, y'all not da-da-da-da. What? We're not modest? You literally couldn't see nothing on us but our forearms. But they was just going in on us,
Huh.
And
How did that feel?
Initially, I thought it was funny.
That's amazing.
That's
amazing.
I was like, oh my God, like, this is crazy. Like, y'all is insane. And then, like I said before, when I was on this panel, I felt sorry for them. Genuinely, I felt sorry for them because I am literally a purity advocate. Like, I have not kissed in 11 years, guys. Like, I take my purity very seriously. So you thinking I'm promiscuous is a sad judgment of your discernment.
Ooh.
And I genuinely felt bad. I'm like, dang, they don't see, like, I am a daughter of God and I'm not on that type of time. Like, we really just trying to have fun and trying to be inclusive and just be ourselves. So yeah, that was a wild experience, but yeah, it happens.
Gosh.
So much. I mean, there's so much. I don't even know what to say. It's like,
Yeah. But again, I think that's what makes you special, Porsha. That heart posture, man, that's a reflection of their discernment. And speaking of discernment, I'd love to hear, Porsha, for those who may be intrigued, maybe this is their first time hearing about you, maybe it's their first time really seeing how you move. And they're like, okay, I'm tapping in, I like this. Are there any things that you do to keep yourself in this rhythm? Because it's a very creative life that you're living. There's not a lot of people who are doing what you're doing and moving the way that you're moving. Are there some practices that keep you grounded? Mm-hmm. And if so, would you mind sharing some of those?
Yes, I love that you said rhythm.
Yeah.
Because I have that in my phone. Like, my relationship with God, I consider it a rhythm.
Yeah.
And when I don't spend time with him, I'm off track. So it's like, I got to get back in the rhythm. I got to get back like in the flow of like this dance that me and God is doing. And that is what keeps me grounded. Like, my relationship with God. It's like y'all married. And when you go out, you out in this world, you going to live your life, but you have home to go to. It's like, okay, I know when I go home, I can unwind, I can be myself. I'm free. All guards is down. I can be myself. Yeah. So for me, it's like that with God. It's like God is home. Like, I can go home to God and I fill up with God. I got to read my word. I got to pray. I have to fast. It's not an option for me. If I don't do that, I'm not myself and I'm not who God has molded me to be. So I have to be intentional in prioritizing my time with God. Even if it's like today, I didn't get a chance to read my word, but I was like, I'm just gonna play worship music and pray. Yeah. Because I got to get out the door, but I have to do something to acknowledge God because I'm wise enough to know that none of this happened because of me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a foolish woman. I'm not that creative. I'm not that smart. I'm not that nice. I'm not that good. I'm not whatever. Like, God has blessed me to be able to be here. So it will be foolish of me to not honor him and, go back to my source. So that's really how I maintain everything, like my mental state and cleaning my room, what we talked about earlier. Spend time with God, clean your room.
Yeah.
But yeah, God is a source of all. Literally, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and then everything gonna be added to you.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, basically, Porsha's about that life. I mean, she raps it. She talks it and she lives it and she walks it. And I feel like we just want to honor you and say what a blessing to have you here and just to help people and other artists, speaking of the 116 life, see a example of someone who can be of God, rap for God, and own it, live it, and be it. And that's the 116 life.
Yeah.
Unashamed.
And I think to score that a bit as well, I think about in scripture where Paul talks about how it was either in Corinthians or Ephesians where he talks about that they were the epistle to the rest of the world. He's like, you are you're our epistle. We don't have to give a defense for ourselves because we have you to go and show what it is that we've preached and the power of this gospel and the witness of Christ. And I think about that. I'm reminded of that in this conversation of how, the importance of us being rooted and grounded in the Lord and also not sacrificing the revelation that we have of who he is for cultural acceptance or even sort of subcultural acceptance within the church. Because when we do that, we're missing out on that opportunity to be a letter to others of who this God is and what he's about. And I'm just so grateful, Porsha, for the way that you allow yourself to be a letter to the rest of us, to read your life, to read, how you're showing up, and to say, you know what, let me go check out the person who wrote that letter. So thank you for being with us today, Porsha. This has been super cool. If you missed this conversation, you must go back and read this letter.
Got to.
Check out this life this 116 life that Porsha has been living. My name is Marcus.
I'm Ace Harris.
And again, this is the 116 life. We've been sitting in with Porsha Love. We want to give a shout out to Holy Culture Radio, SiriusXM channel 154. And we hope that after listening to this show, you're blessed and encouraged. Go be well. We'll see you back here next week.